Alright, 1, 2, 3. Okay. What's going on, guys? It is Coop88, also known as Steve, and welcome to Path of Exile. As the title says, I'm going to be voraciously destroying my enemies. Because I woke up today and chose violence. No, I actually decided that I was going to stream mainly because the weather's not too decent outside. I was actually going to go to the store and do a little bit of shopping, you know, kind of relax with my Friday, but I'm stuck indoors. So I've not been able to get outside. And on top of that, it looks like it's going to possibly storm. And the wind is howling. I thought somebody was screeching their tires. The wind is kicking up really, really bad. And even though I figured that I can go to the store, it's not like I'm scared to not go to the store. I feel like it's better to just be inside. On days like today, it's better to be inside unless I'm like going to work or something. Which, on that front, for those that are wondering about that, yes, I actually am. I'm trying to figure out which character I want to play, by the way. I'm not just sitting on the screen talking. But I have decided, guys, that I'm, do I want to do my Elementalist? I've been playing my Elementalist Witch a lot. Or do I want to do the Necromancer? I think I'll save the Necromancer for another time. Not gonna do my Guardian Templar. I'm gonna probably play the Elementalist in my own time, because that's what I've been doing. So Elementalist can stay. Sorry, give me a second, guys. You know what? Let's go with the Hierophant. We'll go with my Hierophant Templar, because I haven't played the Templar in a while. Let me see, what build did I have him at? I don't even remember, because as I stated in the last stream or so, which I made the oopsie of not putting it on this channel, it ended up going on my main channel, but basically, I've not had internet for the last year and a half or so, and Path of Exile being an online-only game, like massive, you know, MMO-ish RPG kind of game, I forgot what all my characters, like specs and stuff, look like, and some stuff I had to respec for the characters. So if I seem like I'm lost, just give me a minute, because it's been a long while since I've played these characters. Let's see. Herald of Purity, okay. Summon skeletons. Herald of Thunder, okay. Carrion Golem and Wintertide Brand. Oh, good. So what is this? Storm Brand, Winter Brand, Smite. Okay. Ancestral Call. I think I know which. Okay, now I think I've got an idea of how I raised this class. What the? Why do I have 2 summon skeletons? Oh, this is the corrupted version of that. Okay. I was confused for a second. I'm like, wait, why do I have 2, like, summon skeletons? Never mind. One is corrupted. I got one is corrupted and the other is just regular. That had me confused for a second. For those that have never played Path of Exile, when you get a corrupted gem, it's basically like a charge-up gem. So you have to kill a bunch of enemies till you get a charge. And with that, I get like a whole massive horde of like skeletons, like 10, 12 that I can just summon and like massacre people with. Okay. Searing Bond. Ancestral Protector, Herald of Ash. Blight, Holy Flame Totem. Oh, I forgot I had all this. Oh, well then I'm going to have... Let's see. You know what? Scratch that. I'm not doing the Hierophant. Well, wait a minute. Sorry guys, I'm trying to think in the back of my head here. Let me sit here for just a moment, because like I said, I've not played some of the other classes for a long while. Trying to remember. I know the Hierophant's tied to the totem. But while I'm doing that, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So anyway, while I'm talking to you guys, so as I said, yeah, weather is kind of getting a little bit bad, so once it dies down, hopefully a little bit, I'll go shopping, and get what I need. Like, just a few things. Like I said, I'm trying to stretch my dollar, so that way I don't... Oh, I forgot this is better read on an iPad. There we go. I forgot that this is better to be read on an iPad. Good God, I can't even see that. Okay. Okay, yeah, this definitely reads better on an iPad. Let me see if I can just get a brief overview. Sorry guys, I know I'm just kind of sitting here, but like I said, I've not played this game in so long. I only just started picking it back up. So I'm kind of lost as to like what every class does, like class ascendancy. Okay, Elementalist, deal in all things elemental. Okay, it's a spell one. Okay, there we go. Okay, Leads of the Primordial, which means I can have one more golem active. Oh, I definitely want to do the, Okay, so Elementalist is the golem-based one. That's good. I know that. Let's see, what's Hierophant? Sorry, like I said, guys, I'm trying to re-educate myself with this. But while I'm talking, let me talk about the other half of that, which says new possible channel ideas. I've been debating for a while on maybe adding one or two other channels on here, but the problem is I think I won't be able to add them to like my Google account and such, which is, you know, kind of sad because I want to create, because it dawned on me that I have a main vlog channel and I have a gaming channel, which is Sly Cooper 88. But I thought about doing a separate channel, like something like once for like the main Sly Cooper 88 channel is for vlogs. The gaming channel, obviously, here is for gaming. But then I got to thinking, it's like, you know, maybe I should do a cooking type of channel, since I've been doing a lot of cooking and stuff, you know, waiting to get a job. Because I'm not really getting a job anytime soon, it seems, which bothers me, by the way. It seems like it doesn't, it really does, but I'm just trying not to show it because, you know, beggars can't be choosers. You know, that's up to the places to call me back or email me or set up interviews. Although then again, I can agree with the logic and reasoning that maybe I probably should say something. But I don't know. Different strokes for different folks, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Unconventional magic. There we go. An overall utility aimed towards spell users, particularly spellcasting totems and brands. They can utilize a large mana pool effectively by converting it to offensive and defensive bonuses. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading like from the official like Path of Exile wiki. Seeing what I can do. Okay, so this deals with brands, this deals with totems. Skill of Awake no longer grants 1+ maximum number of summoned totems. Okay, that's crap. I don't like that. Instead, it now causes skills that would summon a totem to summon 2 totems instead, and grants 3% more damage per totem. Still don't like the fact that I can't add an extra totem, but okay, that's a nice compromise. Now, what's Inquisitor? I feel like Inquisitor is the same as Elementalist. We're already like 15 minutes into the stream and already I'm like Dungeons and Dragoning like the rule book, if you will. On enhancing it, elemental damage in very different ways. You can, among other things, critical strikes, consecrated ground, giving huge offensive bonuses to themselves and allies. On top of it, okay. I can only imagine the noises I'm making, and y'all are like, Steve, what the hell? Why are you making noises like that? Okay. Maybe it is Guardian. What does Guardian deal with? It's a powerful option for a tank / support or minion based. Okay, let's see what... So... So, Guardian to Necromancer. Hierophant to Elementalist, and Inquisitor to Occultist. Okay. I'm trying to figure out between the Witch and the Templar, like, how I can pair each one. So, I got the Hierophant, which would go well with the Elementalist. The Occultist witch character would go well with the Inquisitor. And the Necromancer would go well with the Guardian, because it seems the Guardian focuses on helping, like, minion-based characters. Okay. Cool. 10 out of 10 would recommend. 10 out of 10 I'd recommend. Okay. Okay. Wait. Sorry about that, guys. I had to look all that up. Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. Causing a meteor to fall from the sky. Okay. Let's look at my skills. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that was the whipping wind. Cunning skills can target damage. Oh, I can choose a mastery. Okay. I'm gonna go with this. Minion attacks overwhelm 20% physical damage reduction. Penetrate. Okay. So I've got zombies, skeletons, smite, holy totem, holy flame totem, carrion golem. I'm presuming that's winter tide. Yeah, winter. Yeah, winter and Stormbrand. Oh, okay. Hang on, let me go over here. There we go. Well, let's go ahead and okay. Sorry, just trying to think about like if I like this build or not. Yeah, I'm not sure I really like this build. That'll work a little better. So anyway, now that I'm at a comfortable point where I can kind of talk a little bit, let me bring the screen down, because I know some of y'all have said, I've heard people say, at least the last time I remember, that they kind of get distracted by me having the screen, the map screen up. I mean, technically I don't have to close it, because this is just really kind of how I play. Because seeing that map in the corner does actually kind of, no, I wouldn't say distract me, but it's just sometimes it's too small for me to see, and I gotta like strain my eyes. It's like way over there. There we go. I'm just saying it bothers me sometimes, but I'm gonna, for you guys, try to cope with it. Because I do care. I do want you guys to enjoy my streams when I come in here, but just understand I play a certain way. Everybody kind of has their own niche, if you will. So, as I was saying, yeah, I want to try a cooking channel of sorts at some point.
Every stone placed for the glory of God. Beautiful.
Play my Hierophant character. By the way, for those that are, you know, that are new to the channel or have never... Oh! Oh! Huh! That's funny. I didn't realize I was capturing beasts for Einar. Works for me, though. One out of 5. There we go.
You have been captured, beast. You will be a survivor, or you will be.
Okay, I am distracted by that. Sorry. I got to smite an ancestral call. Oh, wait. No, that's not going to work. Never mind. I was going to try to see if there was a way to bring those close for the Herald of Purity, but never mind. I'd have to have a 3-slotted system. It's not going to really, like, super affect everything that I do, but it's just more like a convenience thing. There we go. I was trying to think of how to word that. It's more convenience. But I can deal with it because the character is at least powerful enough that I can make it work. But as I was saying, yeah, I want to down the line consider maybe doing something cooking related. It was just something that I think it came to my mind honestly because of, you know, not having anything at the moment. It just, my mind's kind of sparking to endeavors of, well, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. It's more like, where is my mind really going? It's just, it's a thought process thing. But, I mean, it's just simply that, guys. It's an idea. It's not like, oh, Steve's going to come up with a cooking channel. No, I'm just bouncing ideas off. Figured I would ask how you guys feel about that. Only problem is I don't think I'd be able to do it successfully. Even with the job, I don't know if I would be able to do it successfully necessarily because, you know, money.
Do not worry, little beast. We are friends now.
It's just not having a job at the moment really, like, it puts a hamper on a lot of your self-esteem.
We will be best friends, beast, until we slaughter you.
That's kind of dark. Okay, so I don't see any other areas where a beast would be at. Because Einar only really shows up in, like, level stuff. It's more like, oh, well, all this is here. But I've thought about a cooking channel, I've thought about a couple of other things, and a lot of it is, I kind of want to get more into live streaming and stuff, but I also say that because, oh, you know, I do stuff on a whim. Sorry, the yard care guys are here. We got all of our lawn care guys coming out and essentially getting the yards around the apartments and stuff done. So if y'all hear that, that's just them, they're weed eating, etc. So sorry if that grates y'all's ears. I wish I could do something about it, but I'm not going to get on to them about. You know, about mowing too loudly. But it is crazy for me. Ooh. Green mace. But I kind of like the way that this is. See, it's like, I got a mace there, but I'm just like, I don't know. I feel a type of way about that. I think I've got enough that I can be okay. I can be comfortable with this. I'm just gonna go with this build because I'm used to it. I'm comfortable with it. I don't want to overthink. Pro tip for anybody that wants to get into this, and you're definitely somebody who loves spell binding and stuff like that, like doing elemental builds. This is definitely Stormbrand, definitely one of your go-tos. Because that chain lightning effect goes pretty smoothly. I know I'm focusing more on the game than actually talking. And it's mainly because I'm trying to figure out like what I'm doing. Because I've not done this for like a year and a half. So like I'm still very rusty, and I even admitted that in the last video or two, the last live stream or two, when I was doing Chaos Bane. I'm gonna have to get used and retrain my brain to do these things, because I've been spending so long doing so many different things that I keep forgetting, oh wait, I'm playing for an audience. I probably should say something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I know you guys are there, but my brain just doesn't immediately register it. So, I'm sorry guys, I'm not ignoring you on purpose. My brain hasn't quite got it yet. I promise I'll get it. But it's been pretty bad, actually, to be honest. Like, you know, as is the usual case, and it's happened all throughout 2020, 2021, you know, a lot of people are having a hard time finding jobs and stuff, and what I want to let a lot of people know, especially those of y'all that, and I know it's not my place to say or tell people how to conduct themselves, but if you are one of these managerial types that you're like, well, their resume looks good, but let's just go ahead and interview everybody else that we want for the position, you're wrong. And you're very wrong for doing that, especially when there's a lot of people that, you know, they aren't afraid to take lesser pay or take a lesser job to try to help support their family. You know, I find that just, to me, it's very insulting that people seem to think that that's okay to do, and it's not. I'm sorry, it's not. You know, you have people that really genuinely want to work, but they can't work because nobody wants to get back to them. And that's kind of an annoying trend I've noticed, just in general. It's not even just here in the US, it's in Canada, it's in the UK. People just don't want to get back to people. And that bothers me on a very deep spiritual level, because I was raised old school as far as, hey, if you're considered for a job, maybe, you should let people know. Like, and people aren't expecting you to say, oh, well, I want you to hire me for such and such reason. No, people just want you to tell them, hey, we're still considering your application. Are you interested in the position? And I get it. People are going to work temporarily. They're only going to be there for a couple of months till they find something new or something that pays them more. Like, business-wise, I get that. It's why a lot of people don't bother. They want people to come to them, not the other way around. But eventually,
My dear Chitters, the
eventually,
has lived.
there comes a point where you have to understand that just like it's your business to, what am I trying to say? Not hire people, to not hire people. And let's be honest, a lot of companies are only hiring internally, but they don't want to look discriminatory. That's a shady practice I don't like as well. And I see that a lot. And I'm not saying that every managerial staff, CEO, etc. is bad, but it's just, I think I say that more from a point of frustration because it should not have taken me a month to get to the point that I'm at now. But it's also circumstances. I'm in a small town. I'm in a very small town where there's not a lot going on. I mean, there's more closed business. I discovered when I walked around yesterday, walked around the town, that there's more closed businesses and properties for sale than there are actual, businesses that are open. And I brought that up, to my mother, somebody, my roommate, essentially, because we are co-renting our apartment together. We're actually sharing in the rent and stuff like that. And I was telling her, I'm like, it bothers me. I said, because I feel like, every time I put my foot forward, I said, I go 5 steps backwards. And I said, I don't like that. I said, it bothers me. Very deeply, it bothers me. I said, because it makes me feel like I'm not contributing in the first place. And I said, I don't like that. It makes me feel seen, if that makes sense. Oh, sorry, I forgot to switch out the map. It makes me feel seen, and it makes me feel like, I'm not trying to go this way. So it's just very tough. It's tough mentally and it's tough emotionally for me right now. And I'm not saying, oh, woe is me, I'm the only one. It'd be different if I had kids. But I don't. I don't have kids, so I can't complain too loudly. It's the people that, do have kids and they don't know what they're going to do, not only for Christmas, but just in general. They don't know what they're going to do. It's a very tough position to be in. Because you want to try and make people feel good about themselves. You really do. But let's be honest, we live in a world where that's not sound. It's not going to pay the bill. I don't know. I always hate the mentality of it's not what you know, it's who you know. I've always hated that. Because I feel like that's just a very snobby but elitist mindset. You know what I mean? Oh, I know such and such. I can easily get something over somebody else. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like I said, maybe because I'm old school. I was raised old school, but it's when did everything become a competition? And when did everything become a dog eat dog mentality? When did it become, oh, it's all of us versus them? You're outbidding your friends even for positions. And I get it. It's a business. You have to run, things like that. But it's getting to the point to where people are getting divorces all because of businesses and ego. And it's what the hell? That's just, to me, that's crazy. I would never do that. But that's just, I don't know, maybe that's just what I'm noticing personally. You know, I don't say these things because, oh, I'm giving a hot take, or, oh, because I feel like I'm entitled to give my own opinion. No, I'm just simply stating what I look at. I also acknowledge that, you know, I shoot diarrhea of the mouth and, you know, say stuff that I know is not true. And that's exactly what I'm letting you guys know. Like, it's what I'm saying is not the gospel. It's not the truth. It's just something I personally noticed. It has no bearing or relevance whatsoever on how things actually play out in my filter and lens. But it is. It's crazy. It really is crazy to me that, you know, this is kind of what the world has become now. It's become this thing, you know, this thing that we kind of shut our eyes towards and don't, like, acknowledge. Desensitized, there we go. Everybody around the world globally has become so desensitized that I think people have forgotten that, you know, it's okay to be disgusted. I don't know, it's just, I have a lot of, like, hot button things that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Like, things that I saw that spun out of 2020. Like, I saw the lowest depths of humanity. And it's just, I feel a type of way about it. And it's made me kind of become a certain way. Like, as much as I hate to say it, I'm becoming kind of apathetic towards people because, you know, people just disappoint me time and time again. And it's sad for me to say that because, you know, it's, nobody should ever feel apathetic, but it's just, people have become dumb. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. They've become dumb. You know, it's, what was it that my mother said? We're now living in the me generation. You know, the people that, you know, they are so easily thin-skinned and offended, both young and old. They now feel like, you know, nobody, if I can't have joy, you can't have joy either type of attitude. I mean, look, I admit, people say and do stupid things. But we gotta stop with all the cancel culture crap. That's especially what's ruining our society. Not just in America, but globally. It's this cancel culture mentality of, and I'm not talking about, oh, somebody said some, you know, made, you know, a bad joke, or, you know, they said this, they said that. Okay, that I have no problem with. If it's a joke that was in bad taste, like, okay, to give you an example, Holocaust joke. Everybody's heard one, everybody's seen one, okay. In today's day, you know, day and age, yeah, stay away from that kind of humor. Or if you do, just kind of keep it to yourself. But of course everybody's going to be like, oh, you're thin-skinned. No, that's not even just a thin-skinned thing, if I'm being honest. That's just, you know, that kind of shock jock humor just kind of went with 2003, 2005. You know, so stuff like that, I don't mind. Because it's like, okay, that was haha, you know, like cringy and edgelordy back then. Now it's just like, okay, it's stupid, and why are we even still trying to replicate that kind of humor? You know what I mean? Like, it's just evolve with the times. There we go. We have to gracefully evolve with the times, and people aren't. People are like, well, I want to say what I want to say. Yeah, but just understand that there's consequences for saying what you want to say. See, this is what kills me. And I realize I'm going on a tangent here. So I'll leave it at this because I don't want a tangent. My whole point of streaming is not to go on tangents and give hot takes. You know, express my opinion all the time. Because I hate that. I hate that about myself. I get easily worked up and I start ranting on things I know I have no business ranting on. So I'll say this and be done with it. People got to learn to get the stick out their ass, and they got to learn to have fun again. And especially, people have to learn to agree to disagree. That especially. Well, why don't you want to be my friend? Because you say things that people don't want to accept. You know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You know, that whole shit. Now, having said that, I do believe that there are certain things, certain lines that shouldn't be crossed, and I do believe that there are things that, you know, are better left from a few years ago that won't necessarily work today. Now, having said that as well, you know, we are living in a society where everybody wants to talk about, I have rights, I have rights. You don't have any rights.
Though we were worlds apart before.
Let me make that clear to everybody. You're worrying far too much about your own personal politics, and you're not living your life. And you're making your kids live vicariously through this system as well. To me, here's my philosophy. Here's my life philosophy. I don't give a shit what politics you have. I don't. I'll be straight up and honest about that. I don't care what your personal politics are. As long as your politics does not incite people actually getting hurt, people deserving to be hurt, I don't care what you believe. I may not agree with it, but I will respect it, at least on a human level, so long as it's not, like I said, harming others. This is what our society needs to get back to. This attitude of, well, although we are two completely different sides of, you know, of the coin, we are still the same. But now we've got all these different things going on. We've got, we've got left versus right. You know, keyboard warriors everywhere. You know, marches on both sides. You know, like it's the 70s all over again. Black Panthers versus the KKK. Except now it's, you know, conservatives versus liberals, and BLM, and, you know, Proud Boys, etc., so forth. And it makes me kind of want to throw up in my mouth, if I'm being honest, because I'm just like, when did, and I say this with conviction, when did we become a country that traded our morals and values for a skirt? And I've always said that, and people get mad when I say that, but it's true. We've become, you know, especially here in the U.S., we have become a country that cares more about what makes people feel good. Which, I'm not saying that that's bad. I will never say that that's bad. Quite the opposite. But people need to understand there comes a price with that. A price people don't seem to want to be willing to negotiate or pay. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's all stupid. But moving on from a topic I did not want to get into to moving on from a topic I did not want to get into to getting back to a topic I probably should have been going on about, which is, you know, I've thought about doing cooking. I've thought about, like, maybe trying my hand at a few other things here and there. Like, I've been dabbling around with different things to put on Twitch or like YouTube, especially, you know, I've even dabbled around with, well, maybe I should try ASMR. You know, so I'm coming up with multiple ideas on what I can possibly do, you know, going forward with not only this channel, but with, you know, others as well. Okay.
Genesis, Dominus. And now here I stand, countless miles and murders later, honored to be your revelation.
Okay.
You have mounted the summit of the Empire, not a cockroach. You have crushed the bug emperor and wiped his maggot dreams from the skin of Rayclast. Dominus exiled you, naked and alone, unto the palm of death. But you would not die, would you? No. No. You cuddled death, promised it the world, made it your disciple, and so generously shared it with all your fleeting friends here in Rayclast. Not once did you forget what you were. Not a cockroach feeding on the corpse of a dead empire, like the pests you crushed as you walked. Of course, there will be more. You know that, don't you? Emperors. Avaricious little pests scrabbling to steal the legacy.
Okay. I don't care. I don't care. But no, I've thought about this. I've thought about cooking channel. I've thought about all different kinds of ideas.
May these waters wash away my sins and baptize me anew.
I do hope to get a job soon. I really do, because as much as I love playing these games and streaming for you guys and whatnot, because I genuinely love doing these things with you guys. And make no mistake, despite my tangent earlier, I do hold true to the belief that I don't care where you come from. or who you are. I'm just more of the attitude of, are you a piece of shit? Like, do you enjoy hurting people? Do you enjoy abusing people? You know, do you like making people feel, you know, worthless? Those are the people that I can't stand. Those are the people that, you know, that my tangent was more geared towards. You know, the people that are becoming so cold and apathetic and they don't care how other people feel. It's just what makes them feel, you know, powerful, and I can't stand that. And I think a lot of that comes from my background, you know. Grew up with a not so pleasant father. So, you know, it kind of molded me in a way that, you know, I feel a type of way, like going forward. I don't know. I admit that I have my issues. I'm hoping once I get a job and everything, if I do, one of the things I do want to do is I want to eventually maybe look into group therapy stuff, because I do feel like mental health and everything is important, and given everything I've been through, not even just like trauma per se, but just stress in general, I want to get back to a place where I feel like I'm myself, where I feel happy. I'm not bitter and jaded like a lot of people have become. Because it's very obvious listening to me that I'm not okay. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm not okay. Because I'm not. And I know I'm not. Like, and that takes a certain level of self-confidence and strength to admit that, yes, I'm not okay. I'm not. You know, I've been through a lot, and it's kind of twisted me as a person, and I hate it. It genuinely upsets me, because I don't like feeling that way. And I can't form my thoughts coherently. I admit that too. You know, I've got a great speech skill, I just don't work on it. You know, I was reading a discussion not too long ago where somebody was talking about how more and more people, especially people like myself that are on the higher functioning end of the autism spectrum, are now trying to justify, you know, the shitty actions that they take. And I found that to be a very interesting discussion, like genuinely, because it just seems like it's become a very heated debate of, well, what is, you know, tolerant and acceptable, at least as far as, okay, we understand you have this, we understand you have that, but, you know, you're no more different than everybody else. And I find that both gratifying and bewildering. And I'll tell you why. Because where I come from, I never had that. I never had that kind of love and support as far as, you know, being made to be accountable for my actions. No, I was always babied. I was babied, but I was babied in the wrong capacity. I was always treated like, well, you shouldn't say this and you shouldn't do that. Like, there's a right way to hold somebody accountable, and then there's a wrong way. I was always held accountable for all the wrong reasons. And I think that's where a lot of people get irritated, because they're like, and that's why, you know, we've got this name-calling fit going on, because people want to be offended at others being offended. And I got into that debate with my mother, mainly because in her hot topic opinion, she goes, well, I just don't understand why everybody's so thin-skinned. I'm like, I agree. I'm like, a lot of people are thin-skinned. But I said, you know, I told her, I said, the most intriguing thing is, you know, that there's people on the autism spectrum calling out other autistic people. And she's like, okay. She said, why is that relevant? And I looked at her, I said, well, I find that kind of amazing. I said, you know, I said, to me, I said, you know, for you it may not hit the same. I said, but for me, I said, I find that very intriguing, but also kind of wonderful in a way. Because it means that the stigma is no longer there. It means, you know, people like me are being more accepted into society as far as the normalization of, well, yeah, you're autistic, but you don't function any less than the rest of us. And that to me is a very beautiful and very heartwarming thing. And I'll tell you why. Because most, if not the majority of my life, for those of y'all that are new, you're going to hear this, whereas those of y'all that are older, y'all can just focus on the game if you can. I was always told I would never amount to anything, and that because I was autistic I had a bullseye on my back. That I would never necessarily integrate into society fully because of my autism. So I always had this chip on my shoulder because I was treated like I felt like I was a freak, like I wasn't normal. And that always bothered me. In some ways, it's still kind of a crutch I'm learning to just let go of. Because when you've essentially been trained to feel a certain way, your mind still goes towards that way of thinking and that logic. So it's been a very interesting process for me, especially in modern times, to just kind of look and be like, huh, you know, I'm not the weird kid in class or that odd, or the, you know, odd coworker anymore. Like, there's actually diversity. You know, I feel like I belong, you know, at the table with everybody. Whereas back in the day, everybody's like, yeah, he's weird. And it was always in a negative connotation. And I always hated that. I felt like I didn't belong. You know, growing up, you know, I grew up when Asperger's was still very much a thing. And sorry, not sorry, I consider it part of the autism spectrum. Psychologists can argue all they like, but most of those psychologists are people that they don't even have that. They have autistic family members, and I won't discredit them for that. But it's not the same as those of us that are actually on the spectrum. Sorry, I know that sounds, you know, unfair, if not a little biased, but it is what it is. You know, it's the classic cliche of, you know, you're free to agree to disagree with it. And I don't hold that. I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, he's got a chip on his shoulder, he doesn't like it. No, I fully embrace the idea of debating with people respectfully. Until people start being, you know, kind of stupid with it, then it's like, okay, I don't really want to argue with you anymore. I don't even want to debate or argue with you anymore, because you're now trying to You're now getting to a point to where, okay, you want to say what you feel, but you don't want to take any repercussions for it. There we go.
Tasun, your holy mantle is stained with the blood of the countless, Templar. A sacrifice worthy of a god. Just not to the god you had. I am Tasuni. Your holy mantle is stained with the blood of the...
We opened the gates to you for two reasons only. Dominus and piety. They made themselves our enemies. You made them dead. Now, Oyan believes there is a third reason. The beast is our enemy. Dominus was High Templar in Oriath, was he not? Your god needs to be more careful when he chooses his servants. Then again, perhaps he learns from his mistakes. We shall see. Oyan, my mother gave Tasuni to the god.
Many great things begin at the foot of a mountain, Exile.
My Lord Templar, I can't tell you how good it is to meet a man so willing and able to put the Order back on the road to faith.
Oh my God, Padaris!
Vanya?
I've just seen too many foul deeds done in the name of faith.
Committed by those who talked of God while they acted for themselves.
Fine, Padaris.
My grandfather was a captain.
Kira is a racist bully with that fancy hair crest of hers stuck so far up her.
Come on, Vanya. She's a warrior. It's not her job to be nice. It's her job to defend...
Look all lithe and sweaty when you're watching her train. That's the only job you're interested in.
I'm studying the Marrakech fighting style.
Sure you are, sweetie.
My grandfather was a captain in the Ebony Legion. My father too. And me. Just following the path that had been laid out for me.
Until you met me.
Yes, until I met the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen.
Behind bars. An exile waiting to become an experiment. Not quite how I imagined meeting the man of my dreams.
I realized then that I wasn't part of the Ebony Legion anymore. I'd become a blackguard like every other damned legionnaire in San, taking orders from a madman.
Pataris freed me and led us here.
I'd heard about the Marrakech from those few legionnaires who survived the assault on Highgate.
And I talked them into harboring us.
Vanya can be very persuasive when she wants to be. Tasuni, he's a con man.
Pataris just doesn't understand him.
I understand that he gets his every need catered for by talking in riddles and telling lies.
The truth about the nightmare. He makes sense of the chaos as best he can.
How can we possibly know whether what he's telling us is the truth or not?
We can't. But who else is there to ask? We've a few bits and pieces lying about that might help with what's to come.
Bits and pieces? I risked my neck to salvage those artifacts.
I know, sweetie, and I really appreciate your artifact. I heard of the beast before coming here. Piety talked about it. I suppose she's...
Greetings.
Okay, sorry, I had to go through all the dialogue trees there. But, yeah, no, I realize I'm kind of just talking in circles. It just, I don't know. Like I said, this past year has made me feel kind of a certain way, in a very angry way, one I don't enjoy. I think that's part of the problem. Is I'm so fixated on, you know, wanting things to be a certain way that, you know, I'm almost kind of being blinded by, you know, what's in front of me, you know, that kind of thing.
The time has come, not a cockroach, to crawl up into the bowels of this nightmare, traverse its innards, and rip out its corrupt...
Whether it is our gods or your god who have brought you to Highgate, the consequence is the same. You believe blindly in the divine,
and a blind man is never lost in the darkness. You will kill the beast within the mountain. Lady Diala has told me this. She has much faith in you, Templar. The question is, can we Marraketh share in her faith? Sekema Deshret sealed the mines, trapped the nightmare within its black den. The beast should never have been imprisoned. The beast should have been destroyed. The Marraketh once stood united. Vol and his... I will make allies of... Kira has... Tasuni has... Diala wishes the beast dead.
There we go.
Welcome.
Anyway.
Diala was there when it all went bad. If anyone can help put things right...
Why would she? Ray class has been like this for almost 300 years. What's made her want to do something about it now?
She's the Gemling Queen, Vanya. There's no way we could understand what goes on in that mind of hers.
I know. And that's precisely... Oyun gave us a home. Take care.
Alright, let me go do this. And then maybe I'll move on. And then maybe I'll stop the stream. Because by no means, like I said earlier, and by no means, guys, do I say it in the tone that I come across. Like I said, I'm not always very good at verbalizing how I feel. But I say things with the best of intentions. It just sometimes comes off as ignorant. You know, that's unfortunately my nature. And I've had to become confident and comfortable with the fact that I'm not always going to say the right things, but I say what I feel needs to be said. And in all honesty, I don't ever say anything bad. It's not like I'm being belligerent, you know, just for the sake of being belligerent. Like a lot of people, I get very, heatingly passionate about, like, stuff that bothers me, things I notice that really should not be. And I feel like all throughout this year we've seen the, the ugliness in people's souls, if you will. And it's just, it bothers me. We never should had all the issues that we did. And political nonsense aside, I think people have, not even just young, but people young and old have garnered this mentality that might makes right. And I was always taught that might never makes right. No matter the circumstances, it never makes right. But we now have whole rows of people that are becoming like this. And it's kind of scary. Also, going back to what I was saying for the umpteenth time, probably should have had more coffee this morning. That's also probably why I seem like I'm jumbled and just out of it. I've not slept too well the last couple of nights. I've been up pretty late. That's probably why, too. I'm probably just really tired and cranky. But, when you can't sleep, you can't sleep. I just wonder, and I'm definitely thinking out loud on. Like, I wonder why, like so many things I guess kind of have become the way that they've become, if that makes sense. I know that's like such a very like weird paraphrasing. Right? Like I sound like I'm babbling incoherently. I think for me, I don't, like a lot of people, I don't understand what I should be happy or joyful about, especially in my age group and my generation. Like, there's not a whole lot to really be happy or pleasantly happy about, because it's like, you know, it's the whole, oh, well, what's the point of being happy when everybody else isn't? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just jaded because of my past. Like I said, I'm hoping once I get a job and I start like making money and stuff again, I may consider like looking into group therapy stuff, because I feel like, especially after everything that went down in late 2019, early 2020, I just kept like burying a lot of stuff, and it's kind of just warped my whole like world point of view. So I've now kind of got this, you know, I want to be happy, but can I really truly be happy with considering the way everybody is acting? I don't know. I kind of hate it. If I'm being honest, I kind of really hate it. Because nobody should ever have to feel the way that I'm feeling right now. You know, just feeling like you want to be happy, but you really can't. You know, like you lose joy in all the things that you know that you should love, that you should enjoy. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm loving streaming for you guys. I'm loving, you know, like playing this game and, you know, sharing my joy with you, but it's just my joy right now is being overtaken, you know, by all the drama and negativity that I've had to put up with the last like year or so.
You are free now, Vol. Go with God.
So it's just, that's kind of, you know, and that's where I think everybody's mindset kind of is. I think everybody's kind of just gone nuts. Everybody's like gone nuts.
I vowed to care for this empire with my eyes open. I lied to my people. I lied.
I don't know. I hope you guys do understand that. Do understand where I'm coming from. I've just had to deal with a lot, you know. And as I talked about, for those that didn't like catch the stream that accidentally went on my main vlogging channel, because I didn't realize I had to now create separate accounts. And when I say separate accounts, I mean like Switch accounts. I mean, you know, having to switch to my gaming account here. You know, I went through a lot with my family when my mother and I moved down here. We went through a traumatic move. We lost a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot, including priceless family heirlooms that we will probably never get back, including a lot of my baby stuff. But we also went through all the drama with, you know, my grandfather and him trying to not only throw me and my mother under the bus, but trying to throw us out of his house. And it wasn't that my mother and I did anything wrong. That's the part that's actually kind of the most messed up. For those that weren't there, my grandfather tried to do everything in the book, including trying to purposely expose us to COVID, just so he could have excuses to try to throw us out of his house, because he didn't want us there. You know, so my grandfather got his wish, and I hope he's happy with it. You know, I hope the old bastard rots in hell where he belongs. I'm sorry to say that. I know I shouldn't say that about my own grandfather, but at the same time, you know, screw him and screw the childish tactics that he tried to use to make my mother especially feel like, you know, absolute shit. And the bully and the goading that he tried to do just so he could have an excuse to get rid of me, because I was the only reason that he couldn't subserviently control my mother. If I wasn't around, my grandfather would be still trying to bully her.
Look at that.
I'll never forget when he's like, well, you know nothing. And I told him, I'm like, listen, I said, you and I can do this like gentlemen. I said, actual gentlemen. I said, if you want to go down this road, understand that there will be no going back. And he looked at me and he said, is that a threat? I said, I don't need to threaten you. I'm giving you options for how you want to proceed. So, yeah, it got pretty tense. It got pretty heated. And, you know, it sucks because I really don't like being that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't think anybody wants to be that guy. But what can you do? But you know, what can you do when you're that person? Nothing. There's not really much you can do. I don't know. I feel a type of way that I know I shouldn't, but it really just makes me angry when I think about it. Because, you know, I worked hard, guys. I want you to understand that. I worked hard to get where I am. Not just professionally, but personally. You know, I've had to deal with a lot, and I've had to, you know, endure a lot just to get where I am. So it bothers me.
The gate is open.
But this is the reality that I have to deal with, which is, you know, my family wasn't really my family.
Welcome.
I'll spill the tea on another thing.
Emperor Vol is...
I also had, over 2020, I also had to cut off my father finally. Finally had to block my father, which I'm not happy about. And it bothers me. But I realize that the first step on the road to recovery, as people say, is when you cut toxic people out of your life. And that truly makes sense, and that is my advice to a lot of people. Cut toxic people out of your life, because they will do everything in their power to try to make you feel like you're the bad guy. You know, you're the person that is not making sense. You're the one that's kind of being aggressive. You know, making people feel uncomfortable. And I think that that's just, to me, that's just such an absolute kind of asswipe move to do to people. Okay, I feel like I kind of want to see what the fire golem does. Let me go over here real quick. Because I've only ever used, since I got to these, I've only ever used the Carrion Golem and the Chaos Golem. So, I've only ever used the Carrion Golem, which is the Fire Golem. That's weird, so it's just legs and stuff. Oh, duh, I've already cleared out the map. I want to see what this does real quick. Sorry. Before I end the stream, I want to see what the Fire Golem does. Because I've only ever used the Carrion, which is like the golem that you've seen me use predominantly throughout this stream. So it's like wide attacks and speed. Chaos Golem. You know, blue stone doing chaos damage, like almost a rock spider kind of thing. So I'm really curious what the Flame Golem does.
The earth trembles with the fear of judgment.
Oh! Okay. It grants increased damage, which is awesome. And the Flame Golem can shoot a fire spray, a wave of fire damage, and an explosive arcing projectile. Okay, so it's more range. That's good to know. Okay, that's not bad. I don't mind that. I kind of like that, actually. Ooh, let's get back to the entrance here. Because I'm not gonna do the mines quite yet. I might do that in another stream. I just wanted to see what the Flame Golem actually could do when summoned. I kind of want to see what each one does, honestly. Because each of them sounds cool. Ow. Because each of them sounds pretty cool, actually. Okay, so Flames does a lot of fire-based attacks, go figure. But it increases your damage. Stone increases your health, does a rolling charge attack. Okay, that's not bad. Very interesting. I'll have to dabble around with the golems a little bit more as I get them. Test them out, see which ones work best that I feel for the Templar and the Witch. At some point I do want to work on the Duelist and all of them, but I don't know if I ever will. I don't know, I feel like, especially trying to work on the Shadow and stuff, like it's just trying to do all these different summoner builds isn't going to work. I feel like the Witch and Templar are the antithesis of summoner-based classes. That's just, you know, my actual hot take with Path of Exile. Because I've tried the Marauder. I don't mind the tankiness, but I'm just like, not feeling it. Shadow, I've just kind of given up on that character because the character is very much roguish and very squishy. Not my playstyle. Same thing with the Ranger. Closest one is the Duelist. The Duelist is the closest one that I may attempt to try to max out, but probably won't get very far with. So I may just stick with the Templar and the Witch for now, honestly, because trying to get every class to their ascendancy is just going to be maddening. And I may play a little more with the Scion, but that'll really vary. I'm just to a point where I'm like, you know, excuse me, I'm comfortable with what I'm comfortable with, which is the Witch and the Templar. Those are the two classes I'm the most comfortable with. And that I feel I can get the most fun, like, build-wise with. So I'll go with those. As for everything else, guys, I mean, on one hand, I am sorry that, you know, I didn't follow the stream protocol that I wanted. So I'll try to make up for that in these last couple of moments here before I sign off. Because I kept getting distracted and I kept kind of playing the game, and then I, you know, as like my adrenaline was pumping, I kept like going way off topic and talking about things that had nothing to do with anything on this stream. But I think it's also, I'm just trying to get all those negative emotions and feelings that I've been kind of bottling up for the last year or so, like, out. Because I've never been able to openly say them because, you know, stuck in my grandparents' house and my grandparents don't go anywhere, and I didn't want them to hear half of what I'm saying, like, right now, like all that negativeness. You know, whereas I'm here by myself, so I can be able to just, you know, say these things. And say them with a clear conscience, and not have to worry about anybody getting angry or upset. At least I hope not. So I definitely do want to get that out there, and I am serious about what I say. Once I'm able to find a job and I work and start saving a little bit more money and stuff again, and I get to a nice, comfortable, like, work-life balance, hopefully, I do want to try and maybe look into group therapy sessions or like online counseling or something. I may try to do it on the down low, though, as much as I can, because I kind of don't want my mother and everybody else to like know that I'm taking counseling. I kind of want to do it for myself rather than everybody do the whole like pat on the back, take credit for it kind of thing, as like pompous as that sounds. Because I'm not doing it for them, and I'm not doing it as a PR stunt. I'm doing it because I genuinely feel like the last couple of years my mental health has really deteriorated. You know, I've become a very angry person, a very bitter person, a very aggressive person, a very emotionally stunted and unstable person. And that's not easy for me to admit. It really isn't. It's actually very hard, and I feel very vulnerable right now even talking about that. But I need to talk about it because mental health, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing mental health is important as physical. So is emotional health. Emotional health is definitely important to mental health, which in turn is good to physical health. It's why, you know, I'm trying to get out more. It's why I'm trying to go for walks like around the town and the neighborhood. I mean, granted, there's not much to the town, but I still want to get out, and I still want to do stuff. Because I feel like even if I'm going for like a short, you know, 6-7 minute walk, like just a walk around the block, so to speak, I still feel better because, you know, I'm getting out, I'm getting active, and I'm doing things, I'm clearing my head. And I definitely recommend that to people, and I get it, it's scary, not everybody wants to get out, you know, and do stuff. You know, the world has become a very scary place since last year. But I implore people, do what you need to do to help, you know, your mental and emotional health. You know, like, do that. Help yourself out. It's okay to be scared. And it's okay to not want to go outside your comfort zone, but sometimes you have to. There's a lot of days I don't want to walk. I just want to stay home, be on here, stream with you guys, or just, you know, play all the other games that I have, but I need to do what is right for myself. It's not so much what makes me feel good, as much as what I need to do to keep myself, I guess you could say, in check and in line. That's the wording I'm going to go with, you know, just to keep myself in check and in line, because, you know, it's very hard to say, you know, I feel safe in my bubble, but I need to come out. At least a little bit. Or for a little while. So that's kind of where I'm at. Excuse me. So that's kind of where I'm at. So if I start going on tangents and I start telling you guys, hey, you know, I probably shouldn't have said this, or hey, you know I shouldn't have talked about this, you know, that's what I'm referring to. It's the fact that, you know, I'm saying what's on my mind, but I'm trying to be careful in which I say it. Because I realize language is very powerful and can be very easily misconstrued, or that intent is lost. I've become very self-aware of that, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing. You know, it means that I'm consciously aware of how I conduct myself. I try to conduct myself online the same way I conduct myself offline, unlike a lot of people. I've always said what you see is what you get, and I truly try to stick by that. So, as I said, take a brief moment or two, but yes, I've considered other channel options. The only problem is I don't know how I'm going to go about it, because I don't think I'll be able to add like other channels, which is really sad if I can't do that or figure out how to do that, because I would love to do like a cooking channel, just sharing recipes, or like doing something ASMR-ish, like, you know, like ASMR-ish kind of like cooking vids, or just therapeutically, if I can find a way, like set up y'all watching me, like, you know, cook and prep in the kitchen, etc., so forth. Because I feel like that would be a very therapeutic experience. It really would be. But there's a lot of different ideas. That's the main idea, but there's a lot of other ones that I've kind of been looking into. You know, I had a comment on my main channel today talking about an old series I did on there called Lesser Known But Awesome Heroes, way back in the day. And I thought about with this gaming channel, not just doing gameplay stuff, but I thought about maybe like showing off builds, maybe getting a couple of games and saying, hey, this is kind of how I spec my characters, and, you know, generally talking about, especially for games like this, like summoner builds that I've been doing. So, like, you know, the Witch Doctor in Diablo 3 or the Necromancer. Once I get D2, Resurrected finished, sorry, I had to pause for a moment there. It honestly took me a second. I'm sorry to Jody Jefferson. I didn't mean to like pause and stop all of a sudden, but it's like it took me a second because I'm like VOA, FYI. I just sat there for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, what? My brain didn't register like the suggestion of maybe like doing voiceover acting. I've actually thought about trying like VOA, believe it or not, but I don't know, the way my voice is set up, I don't know if I could be able to like change the pitch and range. But then again, I don't know. How many animes and cartoons have we seen Steve Blum voice, and it's always kind of the same generic voice, no matter the octave? I'm not going to rule it out. Only thing is with VOA, where would I even start? Like a couple of weeks ago, I saw like a workshop course, but all the tickets for it actually sold out. Something maybe to look into once another workshop opens. I mean, why not, right? Like, I got nothing to lose and everything to gain from trying new experiences. But that's an interesting one, like voiceover acting, like doing demo reel type stuff, just for fun. Something maybe for me to consider. I'll go with that suggestion. But yeah, it's I'm sorry, that completely like caught me off guard, that now I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, no, I I definitely do believe in the fact that, I definitely do believe in the fact of maybe like showing off builds. Because I feel like there are a lot of people that want to figure out like how to build certain characters in certain games. And of course, me being like a summoner type, builder / RPG player, I feel like it would be very interesting to kind of share like my thoughts with like certain summoner type builds, like how I kind of structure them and what I feel is most important first versus like, what you can do later. I don't know. I have a lot of different ideas. Very minor ideas, but ideas nevertheless. But with that being said, guys, we are almost at the 2-hour mark. I just happened to actually check my phone, and it's 12:39. Holy shit. I didn't realize I streamed for that long. No wonder I'm starving. I was sitting there, I'm like, man, I'm hungry. It's like, is it lunchtime yet? It's like, oh, it's almost 1 o'clock. I need to actually... I'm starting to get a little... Starting to have the rumblies, if you will. So with that being said, guys, I think I'm going to hop off here, go eat, go have lunch, because it is lunchtime as of this point in the stream. But with that being said, guys, take care, have a good one. As I said, just go outside your comfort zone, do fun things, even if it's just like a walk around the block. Just do something to help your mental and emotional health. Especially because of everything that happened last year, one way or another, depending on what crux or juxtaposition you were at. At the end of the day, mental and emotional health, regulation is important. It's the classic mentality of, if you did nothing else productive today, at least you made your bed kind of attitude. So take care, guys. Have a good one. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.